Not yet. Hey, we're live today, you guys. We are back. We're raring for some new chats on this crazy season. I know it's halfway into All-Star Weekend, but that is a good thing because that's what we're going to be talking about. But before we get into it, Jade, how have you liked this season so far now that we're at this like midway point with it all?
So my basketball viewing has changed a lot because my partner Patrick is very much into football. So really my season is starting right now. Now that the Super Bowl is over and the All-Star break is over, it's going to be like really heavy basketball. I've mostly been following by means of the fantasy league that we're in.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's a parent. It is a parent who has forgotten about that. Anyways.
Hey, I'm not doing well, and I have not forgotten. So that's bad, okay?
Yo.
You get a pass because it's your rookie season. Like,
okay.
I fizzled out halfway through last year, too, and that was my rookie season. But, like, our whole league is not – Pat's a little bit frustrated that it's not competitive because, like, me and him, there's him, and then I'm like a bunch of games back of him because the team he drafted just had an amazing beginning this season. He's got both the Ball brothers. He's got Tyler Hero, who started off okay, but he's not having the best season now. Like,
dude, he's a front runner for Sixth Man of the Year, though.
But we haven't
the competition's not steep.
Right. That, you know, and it's not the Tyler Hero we were expecting based on previous seasons, I guess is how to put it.
It's because he's bad now.
Yeah, but so he just drafted this team that got out to this crazy good start, and he's like 11 games ahead of me or something crazy like that. And then there's me, and then the next person in our league is like a bunch of games back from me too. So like,
I still think I'm fifth.
Yeah, I think you're still before me, and I said, I've been like managing my team.
Let's see. So Pat's 11 games ahead of me. And then the next person is 26 and a half games back of Pat.
So this is real. We got some real tight races towards the end.
So Taylor's in fifth and Shay's in sixth.
Not giving a rat's behind on it, and I'm still.
That's how it's gone. I have to say, I have to give a little shout out to the Raptors again this season because I always get teased for being such a homer because I have so many Raptors on my team. But like, my team shouldn't be this good with 4 starting players from the same team.
That is true. It should.
But they are averaging more points as a foursome than any other starting foursome in NBA history.
Freddie, Pascal, OG,
Gary Trent Jr.
Okay. Yeah, he killed us the other night when we played you guys.
Has been so like I didn't know he was that good.
No, he got hidden behind CJ McCollum in Portland. He got hid behind it, which understandable. CJ McCollum is pretty lights out.
Yeah.
Shay, who have you been keeping up with more? Oklahoma City or Brooklyn?
So because I now have Hulu, live TV on Hulu or whatever.
Live TV on Hulu.
It's been a little bit easier to stay up with Brooklyn, but I can't believe I'm about to admit this. We've also been watching quite a few Lakers games just because the drama. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I like the drama. And
it's true. It's true.
Also, Russell Westbrook is my favorite player no matter what. So, you know, I got to do that. But I have been staying up with what's going on in Oklahoma City. I have Josh Giddey on my fantasy team. So, you know, I am.
Is that a homer pick, or are you like, no, I was serious about this pick?
Oh, well, no, I ended up grabbing him in our league.
He's been really impressive.
He's so impressive.
He's got really lovely hair.
He does.
So beautiful. Like, his hair is incredible. Just
magnificent mane.
So, yeah, we've been keeping up with Brooklyn. We've been keeping up with the Lakers. But honestly, I've been watching just whatever games are on like nationally broadcasted TV,
Mm.
which is great because keeping up with all the stuff.
They got
Get a little smattering of everybody that way.
Yeah,
There's
Almost
four
everybody.
nights a week of national televised games. You have TNT. I don't know about you necessarily, Jade, being up in Canada.
We for
up
sure
in
get
Canada.
TNT on Thursdays.
Okay, because but
those are
the
my
players.
only guaranteed. Those are my only guaranteed national games.
Because TNT also has Tuesday's game where it's like the players only, which I've really grown to like that one. Candace Parker, Dwayne Wade, and Shaq really kill it together. And then ESPN's Wednesday, TNT's on Thursday as usual, and then ESPN on Sunday or on Fridays, which also Sundays, since football's over with, we'll slowly start seeing a game or two on the week on Sundays. And then sometimes ESPN does a prime time Saturday game. So honestly, you could be getting 6 days of the week NBA basketball national television.
It's
so
great.
Play your cards right with that Hulu Live. Jeez, rub it in that you got that extra cash. Instead, I'll just pay $70
streaming. Okay, like we basically canceled the others, and
well, yeah, I was about to say, like you have, like you get like that one payment for all that stuff, while I have like 6 streaming sites, and I'm like, oh, it's only $10 a month. Wait, no, that's still like $80 a month just because of all.
Yeah, Hulu skipped Canada. I'm really annoyed about it because, like, of all the services, that would be the one I want.
It would be the one, right?
I could cancel my other ones if I had Hulu.
I think that's funny because, like, isn't Crave a streaming site in Canada?
Yeah,
that's
one of the ones one of
two I have. A lot of shows that are on Hulu are also on Crave, so I don't get how that doesn't transfer over. I think that's a jerk move.
Yep,
really.
But that's not basketball. Let's dive into it. So this week, we're going to be going all about All-Star Weekend. We're going from the highs from it and the real lows. I think we all kind of know what the real lows for it. But so just before we dive in too much, don't forget to follow us on social media. We got Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Hardcourt Honeys and Twitter at HC Honeys. And don't forget to follow each of us on Twitter. We got Shay Watches NBA, and we got Jade Auxiliary Things Johnson, and then me, TJ Rebound, because it's super simple and I need more followers for me to really care about it. Okay, well, All-Star Weekend. So we all know that there is the All-Star game, and then you have these 4 challenges on Saturday, and then the Rising Star Challenge on Friday. Overall, for what you saw this weekend, Jade, what would you get it? 10 being like, oh my word, I'm going to put this on repeat for the rest of the year, or I'm like, I'm okay that I missed it.
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't watch a ton of basketball through the first stretch of the season. And so I was excited for All-Star to kind of be like my unofficial kickoff to like really serious basketball watching down the stretch as we get, into playoff contention and seeding and stuff.
Bad timing.
And
yeah,
I ended up being like, I know I need to watch this. The show's coming back on Tuesday. I want to be prepared. But then I was like, I really wish I was watching something else for a lot of it. If I'm being completely honest, I was just like, it's starting to feel like, so because this is my first season as a football fan, I'm learning lots of stuff. And between the end of the playoffs and before the Super Bowl is a week where they have the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And Patrick didn't talk about it at all. It's basically their All-Star game. I'm like, Are you not watching the Pro Bowl? He's like, nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
No one
and
does.
I'm starting to feel that way a little bit about the NBA All-Star game. Like, it's just, the game Sunday was good. I will give that. The new format has kept it competitive. Steph Curry was magical. That was a lot of fun. But I'm just like, 3 days.
He cooked a three-course meal.
Do we need 3 days
do we
of
need
NBA
the
All-Star? Do we need all 3? I don't think that we do. Unless they do something to make it a lot more fun, better, more engaging. But I would be fine with the Rising Stars I don't even know if I care about the skills stuff anymore, honestly. It's just not, I don't know. It fell flat for me as a shorter answer to a shorter question. That was
so after that thesis statement, you're like, yeah, I didn't care for it much.
Yeah, all that.
Long story short,
I really wanted to, and I thought if I talked long enough, I would find a way to be like, yeah, it was awesome, but no, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't even convince yourself. You tried to debate team yourself, and you lost to yourself.
Right?
You lost to yourself. Shay, same thing. What did you think? 10 being like, this is the greatest thing ever, and 1's like, can I flip it back to my Hulu Live?
I would probably say about a 4. I watched what I could. I have this really bad habit now where I fall asleep at around like 8:30. So,
oh no, rational sleeping time. Oh
right?
God.
I mean, 8:30 is a little early.
I'm like a grandmother.
I would kill for that.
It is so, but I fall asleep on the couch. So and then I don't leave the couch. So if a basketball game starts at 7:30, that means I like fall asleep in the middle of it. And that's kind of what happened with All-Star Weekend too. So that was kind of disappointing. I watched the recaps. I was fine with it.
That's
I watched
all I did.
The beginning of everything. Fine.
You did. I watched all of it live. You missed nothing.
You watched. See, I was working through all of it. So.
I didn't even watch the performances. Like one of the highlights of All-Star Weekend, a lot of the time for me, is who do they get to perform at the halftime game? But during halftime, they introduced every single person on the 75 list.
Right.
And I was just like, so Pat and I think we played video games and we checked back, and then I find out after the fact that I missed Usher and I missed. Because I was just like, I've looked at this list.
You're sure?
The list has been out for months. The list was out before we went on hiatus. That's how long the 75-year list has been out. I don't need to see them all. Like, I'm familiar with the list. And I wish it had been, when they do the Academy Awards and some of the stuff that nobody super cares about, they do the day before and they film a little bit and they give you a little, that's what that should have been to me.
Right.
Instead of now 75, we needed to see the names and the pictures or, whoever was there of 75 people. No.
Maybe do the new 25.
Yeah, that's
we already know who's in the top 50. We've known that since 96.
And what are you going to do for the next one? Are we going to go through all 100? No. Also, I cannot pass this moment by with, again, being annoyed that people like Damian Lillard and did Jason Tatum make the 75 list? No. There's Damian Lillard. Oh, and Melo. Damian Lillard and Carmelo are on that list, and Klay Thompson is not.
You don't think Carmelo belongs on that list?
I know.
I don't think he belongs on it if Klay's not on it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me throw another one in there because there's been a lot of Nets fans talking about Kyrie not being on the list.
Kyrie is suffering from recency bias, as he should be.
I think so too.
Yeah. I just think the one thing is, though, like when you look at the top 50 list, now it's like, oh, I would probably take that person out now.
I think they should be revising it. I don't think because you were on the top 50 list, somebody that deserves to be on the top 75 isn't, because that person, it should be a rolling list. It should be static.
You got the Klay Thompson thing. I personally think like Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Dwight Howard, those guys I think should be involved with it. But yeah, like some of those players are like, yeah, you were great in the 50s, but you paid for 6 seasons.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Or just their impact to the game hasn't been what
it hasn't translated as much as it has in the past.
And I think it should be okay, especially knowing how much basketball has evolved. It should be okay to take people off the list. I would not be mad about that at all.
Well, yeah, because if someone is given more now than someone gave in the past, it should be like, okay, they've given more, so now you're off. Like, that's just the way it should be.
And you just add a year to it. Like, you were on the 50 list from whatever year you got on to whatever year you got bounced off.
And I'm sure there's still going to be most of those guys on that list, as much as I say there'll be. I mean, so that's the other thing with it. Anthony Davis, I don't think should be on that list either.
No,
I don't think he should
Give
be
me a
there
healthy
yet.
season.
I think he. I think he has enough of his career left that he could earn it. And I don't think he's earned it yet.
He hasn't earned it yet. I don't think he's earned it yet. Yeah, because
again, Klay Thompson, but we're gonna give Anthony Davis, but not Klay Thompson.
Yeah, well, because I don't know,
but again, that recency bias. He was out, and so
it's true. It's true. I drafted him in our league, and I'm really glad I did because I drafted him knowing I was just gonna have to sit on him. And
I went to his second
you went to that game
back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, he went off.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
He hasn't played in so long. You might not want to put him in right away. I'm like, man, I've heard really good things. I have a really good feeling. I'm going for it.
Shooters are gonna shoot.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Well, that's and he rehabbed differently. Like the way players are coming back from long-term injuries has changed. Like, what player went and played in the G League as part of rehabbing from injury in the past?
Right.
Which I never understood why players haven't done that more often. They do it in the league.
Exactly.
They do it in MLB all the time. Like that's just a standard.
It's a reason. Why would you want to go from shoot around and practicing by yourself directly into the NBA when there's a step in between right there?
Yep.
It's built in.
So Friday you had the Rising Star Challenge. They switched it up a little bit. There was a 4-team playoff thing. So you had 4 teams set up by NBA legends and then play a little tournament style. Shay, how did you like this new formatting idea where it was two teams and then the final game for the championship?
Yeah, no, that was actually probably what I watched the most of. And I really liked it. I thought it was, well put together and really interesting. Without it like allowed them to be competitive without possibly injuring themselves, which is always the issue with the idea of All-Star Weekend for me. Is I'm like, why would you want to give it your all? You put some of the biggest competitors together. Of course, they're going to want to compete, and
at the point it is in the season,
exactly,
it's getting to the point where every game matters.
Every game,
they have to be careful.
So, no, but I thought it was really interesting, and it was good to see those newbies out there. They looked good. It was good competition.
I think it was 7 first-timers this year.
Yeah, I remember hearing the number.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like a crazy amount.
Yeah.
That made me happy because now it's showing that the league
there's a changing of the guard happening.
Well, the torch is being handed off right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be fire.
I'm so excited about it. Like, there's so much young talent in the NBA right now.
I can't wait for Anthony Edwards to be there next year.
Oh, man. It's going to be the next few years of basketball, and the fact that we're at a point right now where we don't have to go, oh yeah, this team and this team are going to be in the finals at the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
Like, everything is so wide open.
They've gotten rid of from the super teams.
Yes.
They're like, okay, yeah, we are friends on or off the court, but when we get on the court, I'm gonna beat you. Like, I was listening to an interview with Kat, and he was talking about, he's like, yeah, it would have been great to play with Booker, but at the same time, like, he's number 1 in the West. Right. I want to beat that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was like, see, that's the old school mentality that I kind of miss. Like, yeah, we're friends, but once we step on the hardwood, I don't want you to be playing anymore.
No.
Right.
I want you to give up the ball.
I'm coming for you.
Exactly. And that's what that's what this new younger players, which I've noticed at least through a couple of them, they're staying true to, like, okay, like, yeah, I played AAU with you for years, but I got my own career now.
Yeah.
I got my own focus, except James Harden.
James Harden's whole focus is ring chasing. We know this.
He's the worst at ring chasing.
He's terrible at it. I will say this. Far be it for me to defend James Harden, but honestly, in this situation, I look at it and I go, this is not what he signed up for in Brooklyn.
Very true. Very true.
Right? He went there to play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Durant's been injured for weeks and weeks and weeks. I know, because I drafted him first overall. He's been completely unavailable to me after having a start that I was like, he was in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Until he got injured, and he's been injured for a long time, and I don't know if he's going to be back in time for the playoffs. And Kyrie, I'm not getting vaccinated for whatever random reason it is. Irving.
Like, honestly, if 5 different reasons.
If I was James Harden, I would have been like, yeah, this isn't what I came here for. Peace.
And then he went to Philadelphia, which now, Shay, does that make the 76ers the most hated team in the NBA?
For me, definitely. I
feel like, I mean, they kind of were already for me, so.
Exactly. Like, I already didn't like them.
It's kind of just like hate icing on the whole Philadelphia cake.
Like, put everyone that we don't like on Philly now. Just, like, put them there. Like, that can be no man's land.
To make it easy on us.
Like, Embiid's been playing okay. I mean,
he's probably gonna get MVP this year.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
hate saying that, but the way he's playing this year, I'm like,
Jokic deserves
barbecue
it more.
chicken.
Jokic deserves it more, but Jokic got it last year.
This is the year that Jokic really deserves it. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see how Brooklyn's gonna figure this out.
They're not. Brooklyn's not figuring. Like, this is one of those things that just makes me so happy, because we all said loudly and often
that we wouldn't work out.
This Nets team is not winning a championship.
We're gonna put 3 stars together and then make it work.
Remember, Taylor, when you and I did that show with Brian Falco? It was before they all got there, but we all knew they were going there, and he basically told me I was an idiot.
Oh, yeah, he got real aggressive over that. He got real aggressive.
And I was like, they're great players. There's no question that they are.
Yeah, he kept accusing you that you're saying, like, they were bad. And you're like, I never said that.
They're not bad. I said they are going to implode from inside somehow. And we couldn't obviously know at that time that it was going to be COVID related.
Exactly.
But honestly, I fully believe if it hadn't been COVID, it would have been something else.
No, yeah, because it was a beat writer for Brooklyn, and they were saying how, like, towards the end, like, the offense playbook style was completely different with James Harden and Kevin Durant and Steve Nash. Steve Nash and Kevin Durant were like, let's get a free flowing style. Jeez. God,
and Harden's been used to an offense.
So he wanted to do isolation the entire time.
Him for years.
Yeah. So it was, like you said, it was bound to change. Well, speaking of scorers and other big men, so I got real happy seeing Karl Anthony Towns winning the 3-point contest. One thing I do like to notice that was a nice touch for the NBA was he was wearing a gold chain that his mom, I don't know if it was his mom or his mom gave it to him.
Aww.
And usually the All-Star, like, they're just like, nope, can't wear jewelry. But then when Kat was like, can I do this? Adam Silver was like, hell yeah, you can. Let's get some support and love from him. But so with Kat winning with 29 points, almost beating the record, are we going to see more of this coming around with the big guy actually coming out with the W, or is Kat kind of an anomaly with this, Shay?
No, I think that, I don't know. Jay, go first.
I for sure know. If this is only news if you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. That makes
sense. Kind of, maybe because I'm a Raptors fan and I pay attention to the Raptors the most, but like JV, Jonas Valanciunas, is kind of the first big man to add a consistent 3-point shot when he had none in his career. At one point last season, he was shooting a better 3-point percentage than Steph Curry was.
But let's look at how many are taken.
Well, I mean, yeah, that matters too.
I mean, like, Steph Curry's taking 11 a game, and JV's taking 3?
More than 3. More than 3.
Okay, 4.
But anyways, but we're comparing guards to big men too.
And I guess with a 3-point contest, it's just one night. You just gotta let them
put them up.
You gotta put them up. You gotta be hot.
The other reason why, for me, it's like, if you don't see this coming, you're not paying attention. The Raptors are largely a team that play without positions.
Because you're all the same height.
They were all the same height except for Fred. Like, really, that's exactly what it is.
That was what my friend Nathan, that's what he said when we watched the play. Like, is everyone the same height in Toronto? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. 6'6" to 6'9".
They're all have such flexibility in that range. They're similar builds too, so their proportions are similar. So they can all handle the ball. They can all switch in and out of center, power forward, shooting guard. Like, they can play wherever. And I think that's kind of been Toronto's answer to the fact that free agent all-stars are not going to come to Toronto. We're not there. So this has been Masai Ujiri's way of being like, we're going to find ways to win that are not the ways everybody else does it. But I think the league is going to go that way more, because we already have big men that do things that even 10 years ago they didn't. Embiid shoots from outside all the time.
He tried to do a step back and he got blocked, though, the other night. That was glorious.
I'm going to have to look that up, because I don't think
it was great. He was trying to do a Harden thing, and it was just like, nope.
But, like, he's doing it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
As much as I hate to say how good he is, because he is on my nerves.
Right.
But, like, that's kind of the motto of our show, right? We can dislike them as people and acknowledge that they're great basketball players.
Yeah.
But I think the league is going this way. There's a reason, and we're going to get to this, but there's a reason that Reggie and who was on the mic with Reggie? Can't remember.
Was that Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade.
Yes.
They're like, we can't have the dunk contest last. The 3-point competition should be the last thing of All-Star Challenge night kind of thing. That's, should have been. You know, thanks Steph Curry, but that's the direction things are going in.
Oh no, I saw this little mic'd up moment beginning of the weekend where Giannis ran over to Steph Curry and started like fake beating him up, saying that you ruined the league for me.
That's funny.
And I was like,
yeah,
you got a point. That's what happens when you have the greatest shooter of all time in your era. I like to Dwayne Wade called that Cat was going to win it from the beginning, and I was like, the guy with the smallest amount of odds. Shay,
I wish I'd have put some money on that.
Yeah, right. You could put $20 on. I think you would have ended up with like $140.
Yeah.
Shay, who do you think would be another big guy that would do well in this? So there could be a handful. Like, who would you think? Who would you want to put down on the line for that? That's a big man.
When Jokic is hot, he can sometimes hit those threes, and it's always amazing seeing him hit it, because he's not built like even a typical big man basketball
player. And he
player.
Launches it up.
And it's so high, and it's just so beautiful. Trying to think of some others. I mean,
I would love to see Sabonis have a consistent 3-point shot.
Yeah.
That dude would be unfreaking stoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of who else is like, because, you know, we're in an interesting time in the league where big men aren't just playing like the center position anymore either. So like we're seeing some of that like trade in and out and getting them some guards. Like, I don't know. I'm also really bad with height considering I'm 5'2". So anyone over like 5'6" is really tall. So I'm like, they're all really tall.
I don't know that there's anybody in the league right now that's going to be as prolific at it as Cat has gotten.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think some of the best big men in NBA history are in high school and university right now, because they're at an age where Steph Curry's been in the league as long as he has been. Everybody's learning to shoot threes at a time when basketball players didn't used to. And I think that goes across all positions and all, you know, like it's an understanding. Like it almost seems like once upon a time it was like, oh, big men can't do that. They're not going to be able to do that. That's not true anymore.
Everyone's so much more agile too.
Yeah, I think the evolution of that at its peak is still ahead of us.
Because Shaq has told his son Sharif to not follow his game, to follow Kevin Durant's game.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're built a little bit similar to him, and he's the guy that's kind of the face of whatever you need to see him do on offense, he can do it.
Yeah.
He can do literally anything on that. So when Shaq is always saying, oh, it's big men only, when he's telling his son, being like, no, Play like a guy that's like that. Yeah, does it all instead of just dunks over people.
Well, and that's the other thing is the agility, but also the endurance of the big man is changing. And so if you have someone who's able to get out to the three, keep it out there, stay agile, and hit the three repeatedly.
That's a really great point, because I remember looking at Jokic and being like, man, he looks great. Like, even I last season, as things were kind of wrapping up, I was like, he had a really great season. He's going to get MVP. They're not going anywhere in the playoffs because I could tell he was gassed. Like, just watching him run back and forth up the court is like, he's tired. And like, no wonder. But like, he's clearly worked on his conditioning since last season. Like, and remember how chubby he used to be?
Oh, dude. Guy was a chunkster.
Do you guys remember? I don't remember. It's got to be 3-4 seasons ago now. He did a photo before the season for Media Day. And, you know, he was just back from Europe, you know, back to Denver. And he was so chubby. And the NBA Twitter went off with all of these jokes involving turning NBA players' names into food. Did you guys ever see that?
I kind of remember that.
It was freaking hilarious. I need to find it because some of them were like really, really great.
I was going to say that seems pretty genius.
But like when you look at him now, you would never know that that was an appropriate string of jokes,
right,
for him.
Well, then I also think of like even the players that are like quote unquote traditional big men, so say like a Dwight Howard or like a DeAndre Jordan, they can sprint up the court like a gazelle. That's something that you didn't see like in the 90s and stuff. You didn't see Patrick Ewing being the first guy down the court.
You saw 4 people get into and then the center trailing showing up
exactly
live.
So it's multiple things with that. But speaking of big men that can dunk, has the dunk contest officially become dead, Jade?
So I prepared for this a little bit because I knew we were going to talk about it. And Twitter tells the story of the dunk contest a lot better than me. So this was a notification I got about the memes. So I'm just going to do a little scrolling. You know, this dunk contest, sleeping. Like the internet won the dunk contest. You know, really, these are all
the SpongeBob one.
Like, you know, it's gotten rough, and like we talked about this at length. I will never stop talking about the fact that Aaron Gordon was robbed twice.
Yeah,
twice they got it wrong on him. The one time was in Toronto, so I have really fond memories of that because it's the only All-Star that's ever been in Toronto. And he was incredible. And there's no way. Like, yes, Zach LaVine was impressive and athletic and whatever. Aaron Gordon was way more creative. His dunks were just as, if not more, difficult. How did he not win?
A big man doing that stuff is always harder, too.
And then again, when he went in again, the NBA, the fact that they have not figured out how to properly score the dunk contest is ruining it, because it's not a matter of the fact that the dunks were bad. The talent is not there.
No one wants to be a part of it.
No one wants to be a part of it. John Morant should be in the dunk. John Morant should be in the dunk contest. Aaron Gordon should have won and got to defend his titles, multiple in the dunk contest.
They have to figure out a way to get some of these guys like in there, you know, some older talent, because now it's really only rookies who are like, okay, sure, I'll do it. What do I have to lose? And then we all
it's All-Star Weekend. I get to be a part of it.
That's what the older players are, though. They don't want to become a meme. That's the whole thing now with it. They don't want to be one.
I don't know. Somebody needs to get creative. Maybe Chris Paul can solve this too.
Yeah,
like, he solved the rest of it, you know?
So we had the idea earlier, maybe it was last season or whatever, where we thought, okay, let's bring in like guys that are professional, just dunkers, like that is their thing.
Yeah. Those guys with YouTube channels.
Well, what I had an idea with was let's take some of the best like power dunkers versus the best shot blockers in the league and meet them straight up.
That's a lot more fun.
And
That would
see
be-
what
That's
see
a lot
what
more fun
happens.
because there's nothing more electric than a dunk that is either blocked at the rim or
thrown
goes
down.
in when somebody is trying to block.
When
the
Exactly.
shot.
Like that's like
Yeah.
the only thing I could see though is the injuries.
That I was
Like going body to
Right.
body. Like I said, I would love to see a Ja Morant go over Rudy Gobert or something like that, or Rudy Gobert just blocking the living tar out of Ja Morant, or if Zion ever gets healthy, seeing him go up against like a Miles Turner who is leading the league in blocks right now. So
the other thing I noticed too is that like back in the day when Jordan and Vince Carter and even Adam Levine and Aaron Gordon's dunk contests, you
Zach
could tell
LaVine?
that Zach Levine, thank you. Thank you.
I didn't know Maroon 5
this
was
is
in the
why-
dunk
this is
contest.
why
When did I?
you're-
That's how we solve it. That's how we solve it.
Figured it out.
Zach
We got all the
Levine,
answers
yes.
at Hardcore Honeys.
You could tell those guys practiced
Yeah.
their dunks. Like I didn't get the feeling that anybody that was in the dunk contest this year had practiced in advance.
No.
It's
I
just-
didn't
it's
even
all
get the
antics.
idea that they had a plan per se, not all of them, for like what their dunk was gonna be. And then they're not hitting them the first time. And they
Right.
and they've made rules that if there's not the downward motion on the attempt, it's not a real attempt and they get to go again.
Dwight Howard screwed that over.
And so
His
like
Superman dunk, he chucked it into the hoop. As much as I love that dunk, that wasn't a dunk. He just threw it into the hoop.
it's a lot it's a shadow. The dunk contest is a shadow of its former self, and I'm not sure. I have lots of ideas. I'm not sure how you fix it.
Yeah, because like I said, like I was looking at some numbers and looking at over the past few years, it's like 1 out of every 5 years that the dunk contest is good now.
Yeah.
Like 1 out. And okay, I have a thought with it. Is it because also a lot of the dunks have already happened? Like you can only do
That's the
a
thing.
between the legs
Exactly.
Yeah,
dunk
that's a really
so many
great
times.
point. It's a really
Like-
great point. There are only so many things the human body can do flying through the air towards a basket.
Because like
It is a finite number of things.
the between the legs dunk before Vince Carter's dunk, I think was only done in the dunk contest twice. First
Mhm.
was Isaiah Ryder in the 92 All-Star weekend because that was in Minneapolis, and then Kobe Bryant in 97. Those are the only other two guys. And then Vince did it, and
But
now
now everybody's
that's
doing it.
that's a staple. If you
Yeah.
can't do that dunk, you're not a dunker.
Right.
The behind the back thing.
The under the leg, like
and they're not any less impressive individually.
no, they're not. But we've still
But there's
desensitized.
fatigue. Yeah, there's fatigue because we know we're gonna see this one. We're gonna see them. That's still one of the main reasons I'm like, how did Aaron Gordon not win? Not
Right.
only
Yeah.
did he do original dunks, nobody has even attempted some of the dunks that he completed those years he was in the dunk contest.
You
And
need-
nobody's coming with that creative. They're coming with gimmicks. Like I can't even remember the names of the people in the dunk contest. That's how disappointing it was. I remember the first person tried to dunk in Tim's, and that was
Right.
like-
I was like,
There's
that's
Cole
it.
Anthony. It was in honor of his dad
and
because
like
his dad is Greg
it.
Anthony.
I get it, and sure, like I don't mind having that as like kind of a side thing, but like the shoes you're dunking in should not be the main event of the dunk.
Main event. Exactly.
Well, so then it was. I was actually kind of hoping for Juan Toscano Anderson to win it because he is of Mexican descent, and since my fiance is Mexican, I'm like, go Team Mexico with it. Sadly, no, yeah, he did not win, but it was good to see. He had a jersey that was of the old Warriors jerseys from like the early 2000s and stuff, and he had his number, and then in the number it had like Mexico's flag in it. It was real cool. But that, that's the highlight of the contest when I'm like, ooh, look at the jersey. Like, oh,
Yeah,
the
I
fashion
mean,
of it all.
I watched the whole thing live, and it was It was hard to be interested. It really was.
I was watching the highlights on YouTube and it was 12 minutes and I was just like, can I just play
12
Pokemon
minutes?
again?
How did they get 12 minutes of highlights?
Right? I'm like, how did they do that?
Because they went through all the dunks, the misses.
They went through
too.
all the misses. That's not highlights. Somebody mislabeled that video.
But
I love Shay's face right now.
That was like the
It was-
poster.
so
The misses too. I'm like,
how do you
That's a lot.
guys like the new format, Shay, of the All-Star game where it's you're paying to 12 minutes and whatever your score is, then that's your score. But then when the next quarter is, it starts off at zeros again. And then it builds up to the last quarter where you take the top person's score and then you add 24 points because that's in honor of Kobe. So, Shay, how do you like this new idea?
I think it's fine. I mean, I'm not really too picky on like how the scoring and stuff goes. I do think having kind of a limit helps because you have literally the best NBA players playing. So and let's be honest, we're not in a defensive period of the NBA, so it's probably good to have a kind of cap. But I think it's cool that since the MVP award is named after Kobe, having the 24 points, it makes it memorable too. It's not just like naming an award after someone and then they're gonna forget about it. Like there's like a real meaning behind it. And why not? I mean, it's the All-Star weekend. Like we don't really take it as seriously anymore as maybe they did. I mean, literally that's what we've been talking about is just how it was fine. Like it was fine. Didn't need to watch it. So if they're going to do something and make it memorable at all, they should at least put someone's legacy in. I hope that because they're doing that, they do think of ways to get more viewers and more people involved in it. Just because like I could see this if every year is going to be like this, people are going to stop watching.
Jade, same question. Do you, with the format changing and everything, is it adding some new twists to it to keep it all going?
I really like the format change. For people that don't know, that was Chris Paul's idea. It was a direct conversation with Adam Silver to come up with that format. The thing that I think is the best about it is by breaking up each quarter and there being a winner for each quarter and being charity money to be won, it's competitive. Like there are no defenses being played in the All-Star game because every quarter actually means something. And I think that's made it a lot more fun. And at the same time, you still get to have this atmosphere where like Steph Curry gets hot and goes off from three, and you still get to have that too. But everybody's actually trying to win. They're not just going out there going through the motions because something is on the line and all that money is going to charity. Like that to me is what has made that part of it better. Like there's a chance that's the only part I watch next year.
Because well, they used to get paid if you win or lost and stuff, but they're all making millions and millions of dollars. Right. So
it doesn't matter, right?
Like, no, okay, how about we just take that money that we'd be handing out to all those players and how about we just make it to charity?
Yeah.
But
I like that a lot more.
Yes. So well, I think we did a pretty solid breakdown of what was a pretty breakdown of a weekend. So right now we'll just dive into the fast break where I come up with 3 questions that Shay and Jade have no prior knowledge to, and I try to see if they can figure out my answer for the questions for it. So first question, we'll go with you, Shay. What do all 3 of our main teams have in common from this weekend? So you with OKC, Jade with Toronto, me with Minnesota. What do the three of our teams have in common this weekend?
Would it be we each had someone in the skills challenge?
Is that your final answer?
I'm going to assume it's wrong, but yeah, that's my final answer. I'm okay being wrong.
Mine is we all had first-time All-Stars.
No.
No.
What was each of them won an award this weekend.
Oh,
Kat won a 3-point contest,
That's
and
true, that's
Scotty
true.
Barnes and Giddy were on the same team for the skills challenge. So
the
Shay, you were
skills.
relatively close with it.
That's true. It's so
Um,
nice that they redeemed themselves from their Rising Stars challenge because they were terrible.
That was boring. That was boring. I thought the new concept of like the play
Really?
tournament thing would have been cool, and I got bored. I got bored.
You know what it was? Pat and I were talking about this. The games were the wrong length. So in the first two games, they played to 20 to 50. And then the two people that won those games played to 25. Why wouldn't you have the two teams that won play to 50 and have the preliminary games be to 25?
25. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Chris Paul dropping the ball.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if he. I don't want to malign Chris Paul. I don't know if he had a hand in that particular one.
Very true. Okay, question 2. Jade, we'll start with you. So Curry dropped 50 points. He got 16 3-pointers. Who holds this scoring record still with 52 points?
You know, I watched the whole thing, right? Like they only mentioned this 15 times.
Oh, they did?
Do you want to go first, Shay? Because I 100% know it.
You go first.
It's Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Which that boggled my mind until like I looked it up and I was like, really?
Well, and that's pretty crazy because I assume not very many of his shots were threes.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
If any. So like, yeah, like Anthony Davis is super impressive. He's just never healthy.
He's never healthy, and then when he is, he just doesn't.
He hurts
look
himself
great.
when he's healthy.
Exactly.
He walks on the court and they're just like, oh, he's already wearing a cast.
Bring him out. Bring him out.
He's already got a boot on. What's up with that? Okay, so last question. So Freddie VanVleet is the first undrafted player. Van Vliet. I have it even written specifically in my notes here. Van Vliet is the first undrafted player since 2006.
2006.
Who is that person before him, Jade?
I am not good at undrafted. I wouldn't even know where to start. Give me a team.
Shay, I'm just going to see, Shay, do you have a knowledge?
I'm just going to say Kevin Garnett.
All right. So I'm going to go with some hints. So he is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year.
What year was he last in the All-Star game?
2006.
Hmm.
Do you want me to throw in one more hint?
Yeah, I for sure need another hint.
He's got a nickname after a British monument.
Ben Wallace? Yeah.
Good job. I was like
Big Ben Wallace.
I was like London Bridge.
No,
Like,
Big Ben jumped into my head immediately, but like the
How'd
only
you
Ben
like that-
in the league
that
now
hint?
is Ben Simmons, and I'm like, it's not Ben Simmons. Obviously, it's not Ben Simmons.
not Ben Simmons.
How did you like my hint with that? A
That
British
was
monument.
excellent. Excellent hints.
At first, going to say he has a fro, and I was just like, well, no, that's a little bit too easy there. Okay, let's do a little bit of wordplay with it to make sure. See if they're paying attention to me when I talk.
And now you know.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, today has been a blast coming back to our first week in a good chunk of time. And expect more of this now, though. We're back from it all. We are excited for the rest of the season. And it's going to be a blast right when we get to the playoffs, to the finals, till it all.
Yeah, you got to make sure to tune in because we didn't even get to trade stuff this week.
Oh, yeah.
Trade
and injuries, too. A lot of last-second injuries right before the All-Star weekend. So, yeah, be looking out for next week. Little teaser for next week. Yeah. Injuries, trades, and let's see how the rest of the season ends. Peace.
Bye.